would like to introduce Michelle, who's going to give us our devotional today. Michelle has an incredible story, so come on up, Michelle.
Good morning, everyone. I really enjoyed our Women Bible study on Revelation here at Trinity. And last Wednesday was our last meeting. One of the questions in the study book was this: what are the things that eat up our time, energy, and money now that we are in Christ compared to not being a Christian yet? I have 4 things that define my life right now that take my time, energy, and money, but I love, enjoy, and I'm thankful for them all. Raising children, raising chickens, raising sourdough starters, and growing plants or vegetables and trees in my front yard and backyard, as you can see on the picture. As a mom with little ones, this is the reality of our season right now. Just raising children and keeping them alive is a lot already. And while our answers can focus only on us or our family right now, I ask myself, how can we turn these things into something more meaningful and missional that would show our obedience to the Great Commission Jesus commanded us to do before he comes back again? Matthew 28, verses 18 to 20. Then Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." This verse is for everyone. So how do we obey this command with the busyness of young kids? Let's look at 3 areas of our lives and see how we can use them in the Great Commission as moms. Number 1, time. When I was a new mom, I remember where most of my time went during the day. Walking with my first child around the neighborhood was the only thing I could do outside. Coming from the Philippines, we mostly used public transportation. I didn't know how to drive, so I would walk around the neighborhood in the morning and in the afternoon. When I saw people in their driveway, I would say hi and talk to them a little bit with my baby in her little buggy car every day. They probably thought I was weird, but I didn't care. I got to meet our neighbors. If you have dogs or babies or little kids, that helps because people are often more interested in meeting your pets or kids than you. As you walk, put a smile on your face, say hello, and pray for the people you meet, the neighbors you already know, and even the ones you don't know yet. For us, meeting our neighbors was the start of owning our home. We invited neighbors over for dinner, and some even came to the first birthday party of my firstborn. Who knows, you might meet another mom and have play dates. That mom probably needs a friend to talk to and a community who can support her and learn from, just like TMOMS. It is my passion and my husband's heart to reach the lost. God answered my prayer, and I actually was able to bring a fellow Filipina here at TMOMS. We both had our firstborns when we met. We became good friends, and after a year and a half, she accepted Christ as her personal Lord and Savior. Some of you know Marissa. She's back in the Philippines now, living there with family. As a Filipino, I'm used to having people in my house and being welcoming and hospitable. It's a normal part of life to welcome people into our homes. Being trained as a cross-cultural missionary was a plus, but anyone can be used by God to reach out to the people near them. There are some ways we can use our time to love those around us. Number 2, energy. We got exhausted. And you'll probably say, I'm too busy to stop and talk to someone. Do you have other people you know from work, the gym, the library, or parks? Maybe you don't need to add another task to your busy schedule. Let's think as a missionary when living out our normal everyday activities. Just be more intentional. When I make my sourdough bread, I feed my starter Thursday night and make it on Friday while doing the household chores or cleaning the chicken run while my kids are screaming, "Mama!" But I look forward to having my bread done so I can share it with the people I love and other people around me, like our neighbors. Putting your energy into making something for another mom or family who just gave birth, sick, lost a loved one, or maybe recovering is such a blessing. Be willing to initiate and encourage somebody. And remember, Philippians 4:13 states, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Number 3, money. We save money so we can buy books for our spiritual growth for kids and us as parents. We save money for family trips so we can be out in nature and enjoy God's creation. And even though I love gardening, I make sure to limit my spending on plants. I'm tempted sometimes when I go to Lowe's, but I grow my plants instead from seeds, which is cheaper and teaches me patience. I grow some fruits and vegetables in our yard. I just pick them when I need them in my cooking or harvest them when I need to. We limit our eating out so that we can buy the essential stuff when hosting our own home group on Thursdays. We recently started a home group at our house. We do potlucks on Thursdays, and we make sure we have our house ready, paper plates and other utensils ready, and food in our family budget to share with people or friends when you host a group. I love how God sent different people and cultures to our group. We have a very multicultural group. You'll see different kinds of cuisine on our dining table when we gather, from Pakistan to Iran to Lebanon to Philippines, Africa and America. We see the beauty of God's creation through this diversity with unity. One of our group members is going to be baptized next week. Actually, she's here. It's Roya. In our Thanksgiving service, and you will hear her wonderful testimony. We can train our hearts to love and value hospitality and obeying the commands of Jesus by putting our resources toward loving and hosting people in our homes. This doesn't have to be extravagant, but we pay a price to welcome others as Christ welcomed us. It is more fulfilling to share what we have with others than to spend it all on ourselves. Sometimes as a mom, it's tempting to just try to survive the young children phase. But the Lord has a mission for you in this season, and it's something that you can do along with your family. Matthew 6:21 states, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And may the Lord bless you all as you celebrate with family this Thanksgiving. Share the light of Jesus. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for that encouragement. All right, next up, we are going to have our speaker, Heather Powell. Just so you get to know a little bit about her, Heather has been married for 33 years to her college sweetheart. She has 3 kids, 23, 22, and 20, and an amazing daughter-in-law. She formerly possessed a flock of chickens and 2 dogs. She attended Trinity for about 25 years, and she's been an occasional TMOMS speaker for 25 years as well. Heather loves to run and lift weights. She gardens because she's too cheap to pay someone, and procrastinates on writing thank you notes. She has a bachelor's degree in home economics, and she's been a cooking, baking, barbecue fanatic for about 30 years. She's co-chaired 3 of Martha Green's cooking classes, taught cooking classes for Trinity's VBS, taught 25 first graders how to make 200 plus tamales, and has hosted all the family holidays for the last 30 years. And as far as she knows, she's never given anyone food poisoning. So please welcome Heather.
Okay, perfect. Oh boy. Okay. We'll see. I have too much in my hands to navigate here. Okay. All right, we've got some food and stuff coming out to your tables and cookbooks. So go ahead and open stuff up and sample it, and we'll talk about all the different things throughout the morning, but you guys can just help yourself on that stuff. So it is so much fun to be back here. If you have not seen me around Trinity, it's because the last couple years, our family has been at a church that's closer to our house in Yucaipa. But I was here for probably 25 years, and then you guys might find this someday when your kids are in high school, where they're like, we want to go to a different youth group or something like that. And so that's what caused us to change churches for a little bit. But I was telling the ladies in the kitchen, this feels like my home. So I was crying in the back too. It's just really, you guys, I don't know so many of you, but you feel like my family that I haven't met yet, because Trinity feels so much like my home. So it's just a treat to be here. and also to be in TMOMS. So I was in TMOMS 23 years ago. So when my oldest was like 4 months old was my first time in TMOMS. And back in the day, they were desperate for speakers. So they had me speak at TMOMS before I even had kids. Like, I actually knew what I was talking about. So I've been speaking on and off for longer than 23 years. But anyway, our TMOMS table, you guys, these friends that you have around you, you just never know. Our group has been friends for 23 years. And so on and off, we have gotten together. 2 of the moms get together for coffee every week, and just the timing doesn't make it so that everybody can meet. But we've watched our kids grow up, and it's an amazing treasure when you find a group at a TMOMS table that you really connect with, because those are deep friendships. So I have one friend, Kate. We kind of lost touch for a while. Well, a little bit after TMOMS, like when our kids were still, neither one of us were part of TMOMS anymore, but we still had young kids. She and I are like those friends. You know when you see those memes of like the 2 crazy ladies and they're like sledding down the snow in like a toboggan, and you're like, that's gonna be me and you someday. She's my friend, that we're gonna be like 100 years old doing like the toboggan sledding. So Kate and I get each other roped into like crazy, crazy things. So probably about your age. I was looking through every city has their classes that they have at the community center, and Ukaipa had a belly dancing class. And I was like, Kate, do you want a belly dance? So you can tell I'm a tall person. Tall person genetics means there is no dancing ability in me at all. And so here we are trying to belly dance, and there's mirrors everywhere at the UK. But we're in this room, and I'm like, oh, I can't even look at the mirror. And like, the instructor is like, she's amazing, right? We stuck with it for like 3 months before I was like, I'm not making any progress on this. So this just sets the tone for Kate and I doing things that are maybe not appropriate for us to do. So we reconnected just right after COVID, and I knew that she was a cyclist, and I had been doing lap swim at Crafton, and I was like, Kate, do you want to go do lap swim with me? And she said, did you know that I used to do triathlons when I was younger? So yes, I want to lap swim with you. So we started doing lap swim up at Crafton. And Kate didn't know this, but I had another friend on the side that I was doing lap swim with too on other days. And that friend was Allison. So Kate, who comes up with crazy ideas, she's like, we could do a relay. If you know somebody who might be willing to do like an ocean swim, we could do the Malibu triathlon. And I was like, we need to cultivate my other friend. So I was like, Allison, do you want to do lap swim with me and my friend Kate? And so we got Allison in, and we worked on her. I think it took several months of trying to talk you into this. And I did not clear this picture with Allison ahead of time. But I have a picture of us. That first picture there is my good friend from TMOMS. So you guys just think of that, 2 old ladies from TMOMS. Well, because we're way older than Allison. You guys should know that. That's why she looks so much younger. And there we are doing our crazy things. So you guys never know. You guys might be doing something crazy when you're in your 50s. Allison was not in her 50s, but yeah, with somebody singing at your table. So I know, you guys, it was the whole time we're like, you'll be fine. I would never do that. You'll be fine. And I'm like watching the swimmers come back, because she's swimming like half a mile out in the ocean off Malibu, and I'm like, I'm not even going to Google shark attacks off of Malibu, because I know it's happened before. But she made it back. And so now I've already started thinking about like old folks' homes. And I'm like, could Allison and Kate and I be in an old folks' home together someday? I got it all planned out. So anyway. All right, so enough of that. But anyway, just enjoy your friendships, because you just never know what they're going to turn out to be. So Tiana gave me a ton of freedom on topics today. And whenever I speak at TMOMS, I always want to bring food that people can taste and recipes. This time, especially because we're so close to the holiday, and I wanted to talk about kids and cooking with your kids, but since we're so close to the holidays too, I just wanted to touch more into the holidays about it. So I have 3 kids. They are, you guys, I was in your shoes. They're less than 3 years apart, so I had 3 kids in diapers for a while, and it was hard. I will not go back to that. Now it's super good because they love each other, but there was a long time where when I found I was pregnant with my 3rd one, I was like, this is a bad idea. Like, we should not have happened like this. And it was too late, so we just rolled with it. But so still when my kids were younger, I was kind of like an A-type personality in general, definitely in the kitchen because I had cooked so much before I had kids that I knew I wanted my kids to cook with me, but I didn't really want them in the kitchen. Like, I was like, how am I gonna, because I definitely, you hear about those families who like kids are like, oh, we're gonna make pancakes and mom's still asleep, right? And I was like, they would burn down my house if we had that kind of a culture. So I was more of a mom who would do things like in organized chunks, like, let's do this, but not like, so when I say bring your kids into the kitchen to cook with you, I don't mean like, for you guys it might work, but for me, it did not work to be like, just help yourself and make scrambled eggs anytime you want to. But we did end up with some fun traditions of food. Sometimes, a lot of them are holiday related, but other times they were not holiday related. And this is just a fun spin-off to give you guys like maybe some ideas. So we used to go to the library and get kids' books, right? And this one time we were there and I found this book, maybe you have heard of it, maybe not, called Too Many Tamales. And it's about this little girl who makes tamales with her family, and it's kind of like, their tradition at Christmas to make tamales. And so I was reading this book to my kids, and I was like, this is so cute. Like, we could make tamales, which I had made tamales before, so that was fine. And so we're going to keep it simple. We made cheese tamales, so there's no meat involved or anything like that. But it was so much fun. And so, like, we would do that every once in a while, make cheese tamales. And then that started to make me think, like, maybe there's other books, library books about food stuff. And then maybe we could make those recipes. And so I have for you some ideas. Of library books that we did. You don't need this one. But there's Yoko, who makes sushi with her family. Or she brings sushi to school. She brings sushi to school. And so we made sushi. There wasn't raw fish in it, but we made sushi. Pizza for the queen, so we made pizzas. Apple pie, we did apple pie. They're just fun ways to get your kids involved in some other food. There's like making potato chips, which we did not make potato chips. We made dip to go with the potato chips. There's a whole bunch that you guys can look at if you want to. I'll have them up here. And it spiraled into doing that for Camp TLC. And so, they'd have like the classes that kids could do for Camp TLC. So we did cook some books. And we had a different book and a different recipe that these kids could make. And so that would start, Camp TLC then would start at first grade. But definitely all of these things were really easy to do with first graders and younger. So if you guys want any of the little cookbooks for the kids that we handed out, I've made some extra copies. So you're welcome to those. But I do have, as our first giveaway, I have too many tamales. So let's do Vesica, is that right? Jessica, sorry. Jessica B.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I was telling you that we did those like event things where we'd have like pizza night. Oh, so actually, yeah, those are cookies, so we'll wait until Christmas. But I do have other pictures of us having pizza night at our house, and that would start when our kids were really little. Make the dough or buy the dough, just put out the ingredients, and we would do it for birthday parties, like if my son wanted his friends to do a birthday party for school, make your own pizzas. super easy to do with kids. They will be inedible. Like, your kids will eat them because they made it. And that's the other thing. That's the great thing about having your kids help to cook stuff in the kitchen is whatever they eat, they will think is delicious. So even if it's a sushi. So we would do the sushi for Camp TLC, and here is all these kids, and it's got like the nori. And we didn't try to do it so that the rice was on the outside because that was too complicated. So it's the seaweed on the outside. And those kids scarfed it. We did the Asian dressing with the stuff that we served at Camp TLC, and that kind of makes everything go down delicious. So, but I'll tell you what, if your kids help make something, they will eat Brussels sprouts because they help to make the Brussels sprouts. So, and actually, I'll talk about the Asian dressing real quick right now too. So that is, I don't think I brought that cookbook with me. That is from a Hawaiian cookbook that is one of my favorites, Sam Choi. We've been making it forever. It's super, super easy. You can see the recipe that's in there. When you make it, you probably want to let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple hours so that the sugar can really dissolve. But one of my secret mom tricks, we have 2 secret mom tricks for getting your kids to eat vegetables. One of them is this Asian dressing. My kids would eat any snap peas, any carrots, anything like that, as long as they could have this dressing. And in our house, my kids named it brown dip. And they still call it brown dip. But so at our house, this is brown dip. I have to keep reminding myself that this is the actual name of the dressing is creamy Asian dressing, but they still will eat anything. My other secret vegetable mom tip is, like the little grape tomatoes? We used to, okay, you guys know, like, you're willing to do a lot of things just to get your kid to eat, like, one healthy piece, right? So we would make tomato salad, which was basically 2 parts croutons, 3 parts ranch dressing, and 1 part tomatoes. And they would eat, like, massive quantities. But I was like, you know what? Eventually, the good thing that we achieved is the tomatoes. We could gradually cut back the ranch dressing and the croutons. At least we're getting something. So anyway, but let's talk about holiday stuff. You guys, what I want to talk about before we start about specific holidays is I want to help you guys think about maybe strategizing the idea that you guys are a new family and a new generation. And if you think about, like, holidays change with the generations, and think about, like, how you grew up with your holidays, that you can't take your kids and move them into your experience, because all of a sudden, like, if you grew up with Christmas morning at your house coming downstairs to Christmas presents, you grew up in your house coming downstairs to your Christmas presents. You didn't grow up going to your grandma's house to go downstairs to get Christmas presents. Does that make sense? So your kids' experience is, if you want them to have the same experience, isn't going to be the exact same experience that you had. So think about, like, what kind of memories you want your kids to have for things, and start to think about, like, what made that a good memory. So in my family, growing up, my mom was like, she's amazing. She's totally amazing. She's not super organized, and she's very, like, spur of the moment. And so all of our holidays felt like catch as catch could to me. No lie, we would all be up on Christmas morning, like, I don't know, it'd be like 10 o'clock, and she'd still be wrapping presents up the stairs. And as a kid, you know how, like, everybody has their own bed? For me, it was really crushing, because I felt like it made me feel not valued by her, that she didn't plan that out and put effort. And that was just her personality and how she did things. But when we had kids, I was like, I want it to be different for my kids. I want my kids to grow up with a sameness of, like, every Christmas, this is what we do. I want my kids to come downstairs on Christmas morning and have memories of sameness. And so that is kind of a strategy that I had from the beginning. The other thing to think about too, and you'll have to be, if you guys are in this situation, you have to be really careful how this goes down. But it could be that you guys are in a family, either your parents or your in-laws where maybe that family is due for like a holiday reset, kind of. So I married into a family where everything revolved around my husband's grandmother. And so every single holiday, Mother's Day, everything had to be around the grandmother and the grandfather. So I didn't even think about it before we had kids, but so Mother's Day, it would be a big picnic. Everybody would get together for the grandmother. Like, we'd all do that. Not one of my most shiny moments. Once I had my first kid, you guys know, right? You're up all night with your kids and stuff. And I was like, heck no. Mother's Day is for the working mother. Like, by the time that you are not the working mother, then your Mother's Day is on Saturday. Sundays is the working mom day. And so I kind of charged in on that one. And it was kind of funny because we were not the first ones in that big group of families, because this is a very large extended family at this point. Like, we're talking like when they would get together, it'd be like 50 people. And so we were not the first ones to have young kids at the time. And it was really funny because as soon as I talked to my husband, and he said to his folks, we're not going to be able to make it because Sunday is Heather's Mother's Day. She's the one who's working and not sleeping, so it's her Mother's Day. All of the rest of the moms were like, we're doing the same thing. So it really broke everything up at that point. But it was good because at this point, we were talking so many generations that it needed a reset a little bit. But you kind of want to be sensitive about it and communicate well so that your intent in your heart isn't like, so that it comes across well. But just think about that and have those conversations with your mom. Just figure that out. But it is, just be sensitive on that. And the other idea, too, would be if you are going to get more involved in, like, if there is a time where there needs to be a reset, maybe don't try to tackle all of the holidays. Maybe just be like, okay, we're going to start with Mother's Day, and then we're going to do this, and let it be kind of a gradual thing in the family. So we started doing like Thanksgiving. We started doing more and more of the holidays at our house, mostly because I had a very small family and my husband had a really big family. And I was like, I don't want my parents to be home by themselves at Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those things. So for us, it worked out well to kind of incorporate both families. My advice to you guys on that would be, if you do cook a lot and you like cooking, even if you like it right now, you are not going to like having ownership of the entire Thanksgiving dinner for 34 years in a row. So that's what happened for me, is I thought I liked cooking, and so I was like, oh no, I'll make everything. And 34 years of that now is a long time to be the master chef for Thanksgiving. So if I could do it over, we would have done a lot more potlucks. So when you start to incorporate some of these ideas, my words of wisdom are, pick one thing, and then potluck the rest. And I think the other big thing I wanted to say about holidays is I found this out the hard way because A-type, like I wanted everything to be perfect. And first of all, nothing's going to be perfect, right? Something's going to go wrong. When you've got 3 little kids, lots of things are going to go wrong. But when your heart is like, I want this to be perfect, then you're not going to be a nice person when things don't go perfect. And I really struggled with being a nice person and being the mom that I wanted my kids to remember. So I'm like, I'm working so hard for my kids to have all these memories, and all they're gonna remember is their mom like being so completely crabby because whatever went wrong. So not perfect is something I strive for. I didn't bring you guys any perfect pictures. They asked about pictures, and I specifically was like, I'm not gonna, I think one of our family pictures got lost. None of these pictures are perfect. Our cookies, our Christmas cookies, are terrible. Like, when I try to do the die, I can't get the die right, all this stuff. But being not perfect, you guys, is a gift to your children. And if you struggle with perfection, it's gonna make me cry. One of the kindest things you can do for your kids is to not be perfect and to be okay with not being perfect. Because now that my girls are older, I see, like, they think that bar is a set bar because I communicated those bars are set bars. And I regret some of that, where I feel like it's okay in all different areas of our lives. We don't have to live up to somebody else's standards, but what a gift if your daughters can be okay with things not being perfect. And also the other thing is it gives them room to be better than you. You know, like we kind of always, we want to have that sense of competition of doing better and that reward of like, oh, I did a good job, because let them have ways to be better than you, because that's a gift too. Yeah, that was a huge one for me. So let me talk real quick. Are we on Thanksgiving? Cheese logs. Okay, I got to do this quick. So we've got 2 recipes that we do at Thanksgiving, and these are super kid-friendly to do. We've got Opa's cheese log. Some of that is parent involvement, but the great part about the cheese log thing that my kids have memories of is putting on the pistachios and helping Opa put them out. So no matter how little your kids are, get their hands washed, and then they can help with the pistachios. They can help with rolling out or doing the cream cheese. So the cream cheese for the cream cheese chutney roll goes between 2 different plastic layers, so there's no mess. So you can get your kids out there with the rolling pin, batting it down or whatever, and you guys don't have any mess at all, which is pretty awesome. And honestly, food is going to taste the same no matter what it looks like, right? So if this is a hot mess by the time it goes onto the table after the 2-year-old does, it's okay. It's going to taste the same. Now, the cream cheese chutney roll used to be super, super easy because when the recipe first came out, Trader Joe's sold cream cheese chutney. Like, you could just buy it in a little jar. And I can't find I can't find cranberry chutney anywhere. So I found a recipe online, and that's the recipe that I made for this. It's very quick and easy to do the cranberry chutney ahead of time, but it used to be easier than it is now. So I do have 2 Thanksgiving-ish related giveaways here. Okay, Thanksgiving mashed potatoes, right? Okay. If you guys want to know the secret of the best mashed potatoes, this is all you need, right? Salty potatoes, salt, lots of butter, and milk, and go at it. Well, add your milk after you've mashed up the potatoes, but I've got a potato masher for Kelsey Matoli. And then also, I can't do this without giving away cookbooks, too, because I am like, cookbook fanatic. So this one has been out for a long time, and she has got probably 8 cookbooks. And maybe you guys have do you guys have a bunch of Barefoot Contessa cookbooks in your house? Maybe not. Oh, you guys, I was looking, I don't even know how many of the recipes I have made out of this cookbook and all of her others, but this is her first one. Yeah, if you want to talk to me afterwards, I could probably give you 15 recipes out of here that are gold. So let's do this one, too. Michelle Castro. Do you have a hand? All right. And there's pictures. I picked cookbooks that have pictures in it for the most part, too. So that's good. Okay, so then we talked about tamales. Another thing that we do in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we make Christmas cookies. And we started this a long time ago, and I was trying to scroll through my phone to find like older pictures. My family still loves making Christmas. So I make the cookies, and then we frost them. So that's what we do. You see the shows online where not online, but like on Food Network where you're like, oh, I can do that, right? How hard does it look? Decorating cookies is so hard. So we always think we're going to give them away, and we have like 19 dozen, and then they just sit at the house because they're too embarrassing to give away. But even this year, my husband's like, we got to do Christmas cookies. The other thing, I thought of this when I was out on my run yesterday, but I was like, it's not related, but I just wanted to share this with you guys as an idea. We didn't really do Advent stuff when I was a kid, but with our kids, we had our oldest, when she was in kindergarten, had a kindergarten teacher who had this thing for the Christmas concert that the school did. The kids, these kindergartners, recited Luke 2, 1 through 20 from memory. And so one year, that was like part of her homework. They were practicing at class. It was part of their homework. And so we started reading Luke 2, 1 through 20 every night from basically December 1st until Christmas morning. And then we would have, like, we'd buy the Costco tin of cookies. And so once we read it, everybody had, like in our little advent calendar, we'd have the cookies. And so when the kids were little, it took like an hour to read that passage because they would want to turn reading. Everybody have a night where they get to read, and so it's all slow. But it was so good. And you know what? After so many years, we all have it memorized, right? Because every year we have read out loud Luke 2, 1. And we've changed it up now as the kids have gotten older. But it's a fun tradition. And oh yeah, my kindergartner, she recited that easily. And I think that the younger ones were also had it close to memorized by Christmas then too. Did we talk about Christmas? Christmas with me super quick. Just like cutting your bangs after a bad day, or cutting to get bangs after a bad day. Don't ever do that, right? The other rule is don't ever make prime rib for Christmas dinner. I know, because I have tried 10 times, and I've tried 10 times, and I've had one success. And the problem is my one success was the first time I did it. And even last year, I was like, my kids are grown, like, I could do this, right? Oh no, I still destroyed the prime rib for Christmas dinner. So my tip for you for Christmas is to do something that you can make ahead of time and reheat, because that's my plan for this year. Because by Christmas, I am tired and crabby, and I don't want to do any work, and I have big goals at the beginning of the holiday season. So whatever you have planned for Christmas now, just scale that way back, because you'll be happier, and your kids will have better memories of a happy mom if you don't do prime rib for Christmas. Unless you're Kristen, because I know that Kristen is amazing. That's a whole nother story, but okay. I've got another giveaway. Did you guys try the chocolate cake yet? Yes. Okay. You guys, this chocolate cake is amazing. Did you look at the recipe for the chocolate cake? Did you know what's missing from the chocolate cake? There's two things. Does anybody know? There's no eggs in the chocolate cake. Like, how do you make a cake without eggs? There's no butter in the chocolate cake, some chocolate cakes will have oil, or some cakes will have oil. So this is a cake that apparently has its roots in the Depression, supposedly, when ingredients were a little bit more scarce. It is like one of the cheapest things that you could make, but this is how we used our chocolate cake. So it's super kid-friendly. It's all in the pan, and I think that the actual directions on this one are that you can whisk the dry ingredients in a separate bowl. But the one straight out of in the Sweet Kitchen cookbook is you actually put all the dry ingredients in the pan, and you take a little fork and you whisk it around, and then you make the holes to put the stuff in. You don't grease that pan, nothing. And so truly, it could be a all-in-one pan chocolate cake for your kids to make. They're not going to get eggshells in it. They're not going to give themselves salmonella when they're licking their fingers. Like, none of that stuff, right? It's so great. So we have done this for gifts. So I was going to tell you guys, this is the best gift thing to do. So if you're trying to create a sense in your kids of generosity and doing things, but it shouldn't be like the parents are buying the gift and then the kid gets to put their name on it. Kids can make chocolate cakes for their teachers, for their family. If you guys, depending on your budget thing, I'm going to try to get my son and my daughter-in-law to do this. Giving cakes at Christmas, that is something from the heart to give to some people that they'll be thrilled with. You don't have to buy things. You could just do something simple. Anyway, easiest cake ever. I have extra tins if you guys want, because I don't need these tins anymore. So if you're like, I might try this chocolate cake idea with my kids, and you want to take these tins home with you, I think I have 40 left over. So you just come over here and help yourself. And then the giveaway that I have, there's actually 2 of them in here. If you're going to frost anything, the best thing that you could have is an offset spatula, which is that shape on the spatula to help spread it out, it's a world of difference than just using a regular knife. So I've got, and there's 2 in that little set. Ruth E. All right, so then I think we're still on time. My whole goal is to get you guys to be done early so that you guys can visit and talk. So I do have, okay, we already talked about the Asian dressing. So moving on from Christmas, New Year's, which means Mom is done cooking at my house, and we go get frozen appetizers from the freezer department at Vaughn's, and we heat them up, and we play games for New Year's, and that's the extent of our New Year's, because I'm 100% done. But I do, oh yeah, I'm done. But this year I'm going to do better, I promise. I do have a giveaway, and this is the wackiest one that I'm going to raffle off. I'm telling you guys. So follow me. My thought process on this is like January, right? So you're making all your New Year's resolutions to be healthier. And this is one of my favorite cookbooks. So this is actually like a recipes, but also it's a professional runner and a dietitian who write the book. So if you don't run, just scroll through, don't even scroll, just skip all the stuff on running. But there's a bunch of healthy recipes in here. It's called Rise and Run. And in this, they have 25 she calls them superhero muffins. Hang on, that's my alarm. We're gonna do one snooze and then I'm gonna be done, okay? So she has like 25 different superhero muffins, which are amazing and delicious. And guess what? I've made them all. And they're all super, super delicious. So this is one of my favorites. I've made a ton of stuff out of it. The only thing I would note, whoever gets this is getting a sticky note on it that says less salt, because it is geared for somebody like who's an endurance runner who needs all the salt. So they're salt heavy, so maybe go half the salt. And I've got the fancy little muffin things to use so that it doesn't stick. And these are amazing. So anyway. Marin, M-A-R-I-N, Marin. Yeah, that might be a regift. If you get that cookbook and you're like, this is crazy stuff in here, then you could find somebody at Christmas and you'd be like, look what I bought for you. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I almost, when I was thinking about how I was going to do this, I was like, should we make like a healthy raffle box? Like a kooky? It's not healthy. Kooky healthy raffle box? And then like a regular, like the people raffle box? But, okay, there you go. Okay, I do have another. Okay, so you guys did not know this, but when your kids get older, there is another holiday in February that is not Valentine's Day, that is a holiday called Super Bowl. So yeah, there we go, right here. So, this is the very important. I have my oldest daughter. Super Bowl is actually her favorite holiday party, which is amazing. And then I think what happens with your kids is you don't realize something is important until later on, and then you're like, oh, I need to lean hard on this. I didn't realize that Super Bowl thing was such a big deal until I started hearing my kids talk about, like, this is my favorite. I was like, okay, we're all in on Super Bowl. So one time, when the kids were at camp or something like that, I'm really good at copying stuff. I don't have any creative bone in my body, but I found this on Pinterest. So out of felt, I hot glued like the football, not a football fan, the grass stuff in the center. I made that for putting the food on. But so for many years, we started making, I come from like I'm going to do everything from scratch, right? Like, I'm going to make my pasta from scratch. I'm going to make my tortillas from scratch. I'm going to make all this stuff. So it killed me a little bit the first time that I bought Nutter Butters and, like, almond bark. But my kids love that. Do you know how many years we have made those Nutter Butter Ruffs? And still, they're like, and I'm like, could we get away from the Nutter Butter Ruffs? we have to do the Nutter Butter S every single time. So anyway, you guys will have fun figuring out. And that's the great thing is you can pick your own holidays and be like, we're going to go hard on this one. And this is completely unrelated, but it's one of my favorites. So now we're into February where it's colder and maybe you want soups and slow cooker stuff. This is like it's 3 of my favorite slow cooker books all smashed into one. And these are not just like dump in there and walk away. Those are hard to have them actually. Have you guys tried the dump in? Dump in and walk away slow cooker things are a little challenging sometimes. So this has got sometimes a little prep before it goes in, but they're all super delicious. And I don't even know how many recipes I've made out of those 3 cookbooks. So this one is going to Marissa with 2 S's. Oh, gold in this cookbook is the macaroni and cheese recipe. The crock-pot macaroni and cheese I have made 50 times probably, and it is the best macaroni and cheese ever. You guys are almost done. Easter. Do you want to do the next one for Easter? Okay. I've got like 3 slides. So Easter is a little bit challenging. We've been doing Easter because we do all the holidays. We've been doing Easter at our house for a while. Easter's hard because like right after church, like trying to come home to like hot food is hard to do. So a few years ago, we switched to soup and salad. And so I'm Norwegian and Swedish. So we started making smorgastardas. And we'll do like little mini ones where every kid gets to do their own. So those are all little minis. You can scroll through. So there's one of my daughters. So basically, smorgastarda, if you guys are straight out of Norway or Sweden, you're going to be like, I'm talking like Velveeta compared to what you make. But it's basically like a bread sandwich cake. So we take a whole loaf of bread that's like intact, slice it like a layer cake, and then you've got your fillings that'll go into it. Now, the most authentic ones have got like smoked herring mousse in it, which we made. It's like cat food. It ruined the whole thing. And so then we Americaned it for ourselves, so we put in like egg salad or turkey salad or shrimp or whatever, and then just do different layers of flavors in there. And it's, for the mom, we did it the first year, and I was like, this is a pain in the neck. We're never going to do this again. But instantly, it was like a hit, and still, we have to do smorgastardas every year. So last year, we did smorgastardas, and then the grown cousins came over one year, and they were like, we heard about smorgastardas. We want to make them too. So I'm like, you guys are like in your 20s, but we still are making those smorgastardas. But all that to say is, this is from my family background. Oh yeah, more Easter stuff that is like, you do the same things all the time because your kids have good memories of the same goofy things of whether you're gluing M&Ms on pretzels or whatever. Yeah, it's not going to be in a cookbook someday where I'm going to brag about, like, we make this in our house, but you guys are saying it. But you guys all have your own family background. And even, like, I didn't grow up with smorgastardas, but I was looking through Pinterest, and I was like, hey, this is Scandinavian, we could do this, and it's cute. But think about things that you could pull from your heritage and kind of reclaim as your own and lean hard on for your kids and kind of create this sense of, like, history. Even if you don't feel like you have a sense of history, if you feel like your background is from 10 different nationalities, pick one thing where you're like, I think I want to lean on this because I like the kind of food and we could do some fun stuff with that. And those are good memories for your kids. I do have one last, oh no, I have more than one thing to give away. Here we go. Okay. I almost forgot. Okay, rewind to Thanksgiving. If you guys are making a turkey, the most important thing that you need is a meat thermometer. So this is a meat thermometer. And you cannot have too many meat thermometers, I will tell you that. Roya? All right. Yeah. So I think I have 3 or 4 meat thermometers because what happens is when you have the turkey and you're like, I need to see if it's done, then the battery is dead. And that's a problem. So there's the meat thermometer. I'm going to save this one for last. My other thing, too, I just was like, on Amazon, I was like, I'm going to just find all my favorite things. So these spatulas are my favorite. My husband got me bigger ones than this from the same company probably 20 years ago. They still show no signs of wear at all, but they are high heat spatulas, so they can be up to 500 degrees, and they don't melt, they don't change their consistency, nothing. So like for getting like, if you've done Rice Krispie treats, right? You know how the Rice Krispie stuff is like hot and trying to get it out? These things are perfect. So I got 2. For Rachel Peters. All right, that's my snooze timer, so we got to be fast because we got 30 seconds and then I'm walking off the stage. Okay, Emily Spear. Okay, and this one, I did not have this as of yesterday at 10 o'clock. I did not have this idea to give away, but I think I first started hearing about Hallmark movies in TMOMS. So I'm assuming maybe there's still some Hallmark fans in here for movies, Christmas. Any of you with me? Okay, so I got hooked on it, right? So I've got like Hallmark Plus, and I started watching the Murders and Mysteries. So have any of you guys seen the Hannah Swenson Murders and Mysteries? It's like the cake cookie. She's a cookie. Anyway, it's Hallmark Channel related. So if you guys get the Murders and Mysteries, it's a mystery one. So I watched all of them, and then somehow I saw at the end, I had to say based on the series, and I was like, oh, there's books. So yesterday, while I was making all this food for you, I was listening to my first Hannah Swenson murder mystery that I watched on the Hallmark Channel, and at the end of each chapter, she has all these recipes for cookies and stuff, and I was like, well, that actually sounds kind of interesting. So I was like, I wonder if people actually made these. So I just Googled, like, Hannah Swenson recipes, and there's, like, fan clubs of the recipes from this lady's cookbook. Like, it's crazy, right? There is a cookbook of her recipes that is just her recipes all compiled from the cookbook. So I'll tell you guys, in case you have somebody in your life who's like a big Hallmark Channel fan, if you need a Christmas present, it's only $8. So don't think I was a big spender on this cookbook. But I bought, and then Amazon was like, we could deliver between 4 a.m. and 8. So I've got the cookbook for somebody. So yeah, you guys have got like, I haven't tried any of them. I don't know if they're good, but there's a fan club, so probably they're okay. All right, Tiffany. Did she have to leave? Okay, so somebody can save this for Tiffany. Thank you, Kristen. Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, so I think that is all I got. I hope I gave you guys some ideas and didn't bore you too much. When I was at TMOMS, I didn't always like the speakers because I just wanted to talk to my friends. But we're a little on the early side, so I'm going to wrap it up, and whoever wants to take over from here, I'm out. I'm done.